Assalamu alaikum, dear friends, how are you? Financial success, financial freedom, that is one of the most important things we people need in our life. This is the reason that we spend most of the time, a human being spend most of the time on earning the money, and prior to that, on developing a capability to earn the money in the form of education, technical education, skills, experiences, etc., etc. So, if at all the finance is that much important in our life, then we need to get the education of it as well. Some of the families they teach the financial education to their kids at home, and it runs in their family. They train well their children to be good at it. Although it is not as developed, that education is not the finest one. Nowadays, for the past few years or so, financial literacy is being talked about here and there, and it is being considered as something essential. That is why some of the countries in the world they have started teaching it in their schools and is being taken as a compulsory subject. We have made this financial literacy the topic of our discussion today. To begin with, we need to know the definition of it. Understanding financial concepts, managing personal finances effectively, and making informed decisions about money. Understanding financial concepts, managing personal finances effectively, and making informed decisions about money. So, this thing is called financial literacy. Now, we need to know the key components of it. These are seven in number. Savings on the one hand, investment, investing, then debt management, thirdly, credit management, number four, financial planning, number five, risk management, number six, and more important than all others, it is the savings. So these are the seven key components of financial literacy. After this, we need to know the principles of it as well. What are the principles of financial literacy? These are seven in number. First of all, it is live below your means. There are people who are spending more than what they can. Then there are people who consume all the money which comes to their hands. Here it is said, live below your means. Number two, create an emergency fund. Creating an emergency fund. Number three, it is pay off high interest debt. In some of the society, including that of ours, people are seen taking the items on installments, and those who are selling it on their goods on installments, they are charging quite a higher interest. Here, as the as a principle of financial literacy, it is being taught that pay off high interest debt. Number 4, the fourth principle of financial literacy is invest for the future. Investment for the future. The fifth principle of financial literacy is diversifying investments. Diversifying the investments. Now, mean not to put all the eggs in one basket. Rather, to choose more than one areas and sectors of your investment, so that if at all one sector is in crisis, you can keep taking your expenses from the other. So diversify investments. The sixth principle of financial literacy is monitor credit reports. Monitoring of credit reports. And the seventh and the last principle of financial literacy is avoid lifestyle inflation. There are people who are automatically raising their expenses, in a way which is not even felt. So that is called lifestyle inflation. I think we need to maintain the expenses and shouldn't allow them to skyrocket or to keep increasing in an unconscious way. So we talked about the technical definition of the financial literacy. We talked about the key components of these, and then we spoke about the financial literacy principles, and now we are going to talk about the financial goals. So these financial goals are 5 in number. First of all, it is the short term goals, like you want to buy a new car, or whatever, that is called short term goal. And the long term goal says that plan about what you are going to do, how you are going to survive in the post retirement era. Now the third is, it is the emergency fund. Create an emergency fund as well. Now the fourth is debt elimination. Debt is bad, but the high interest debt, that is deadly. I think we need to get rid of the debt first of all, not to like it at all, particularly the one which is being used for the purpose of buying the comforts. It is far better to wait for a while and then buy whatever you want to on cash. So it is the emergency fund. The fourth is debt elimination. The fifth is wealth creation. We need to create the wealth as well. So these are the 5 financial goals, 5 directions of, 5 sectors of, 5 components of, 5 areas of financial goals. Then we need to move to the next segment of it, and it is financial instruments. The financial instruments, what is that? Checking and saving accounts. Checking and savings accounts. Now credit cards, also loans, personal, mortgage, and student loan. There are 3 types of loan here. Personal loans, mortgage loans, and student loans. The fourth financial instrument, it is the investments. Investments like investing in the stocks, in the bonds, in the ETFs, or in the real estate. Now the fifth financial instrument is insurance. Life insurance, health insurance, disability insurance. So these are the 5 types of insurances. Now moving to the next segment of it, it is financial ratios. What are these financial ratios? It is debt to income ratio. Mean what is your debt and what is your income. Mean it is a principle, debt to income principle applied by the commercial banks. So these banks try to calculate by their own means what is your income, and then decide how much of the loan are they going to offer you. The second financial ratio, that is savings ratio, mean what you earn, how much of your earning, how much of the ratio of your earning is going to the saving. Now the third is emergency fund ratio, how much of the ratio of your income is going for the emergency fund. And the fourth is investment ratio, return ratio, mean how much are you earning, how much of the ratio you are earning on your investment. So that was, now moving to the next part of it, which says financial mistakes to avoid. There are certain mistakes, and these are five mistakes which are very, very common. So we need to avoid all of these five common mistakes in the field of the finances. The first one is overspending. People do spend more than what they need, what they should spend. Secondly, not saving enough. We need to save a reasonable amount of money. And the third common financial mistake is, it is, that is high interest debt. Never buy the thing, never ever buy the thing which are being sold on the high interest debt. The fourth is, it is the lack of diversification. Always diversify your investment, because not to put all the eggs in one basket, that is very true. And the fifth is no financial plan. So that is also very common. Most of the people in this society, they don't have any financial plan. Why don't they have any financial plan? Because they don't have the financial literacy. So that is, my dear friends and fellows. Now let's go to the next segment of it. It is taking control of your finances. Taking control of your finances, there are five ways to do that. Number one, it is creating a budget. Create a budget. Many people say that it is too difficult to create a budget. Actually, it is too simple, because you don't have to create the budget of a company or a country. Rather, you have to create the budget of one individual or one family. So it is not complicated at all. Simply keep writing the top seven needs of yours, all the important needs. Put it on the paper. Then write it importance wise. That is the number one most important need. Say it is the food, call it the shelter, whatever are the dresses, or whatever you call it. So now you need to understand how much of the money is needed for the sake of shelter, for the sake of the utility bills. Now how much of the money is needed to to buy the needed foods, how much of the money is needed to maintain the dresses, and of course the transportation, the socialization, and the medical, and the education of the children. So I think at the end of all that, calculate it, how much of the money you need in a year. And then of course we need to start thinking, how can I meet, what are the ways to not only get the money which I do need, rather more than that as well. So it is a simpler way of creating a budget. And still there is another important thing. As for the budget is concerned, keep writing whatever you are spending. Keep writing, and then at the end of the week, reflect upon them, where you shouldn't have spent, but you did, where you spent more than what it was necessary to spend, and then of course where you should have spent but you didn't do that. So reflection upon your spending. So that is, we did speak about creating a budget. Now the next way to take control of your finances, it is building an emergency fund. We must have an emergency fund. If anything untoward happens, we must not go to any other individual for the purpose of getting a loan. And from here and from there, particularly in a society like that of ours, it is not easy for a commoner to get the money instantly. So for that reason, it is really important to create an emergency fund. The third is investing wisely. Make the investments very wisely, very sensibly, after a careful consideration. And then of course, taking control of your finances by managing the debt. Manage your debts as well. The fifth and the last way for controlling your finances, it is it is planning for the future. Planning is very important indeed. Now remember, financial literacy is a lifelong learning process, and it cannot be done in just one session or not even few weeks or months. So it is a lifelong learning process. So I think we need to spare a good amount of time on a regular basis to learn the financial literacy. That is achieve financial freedom through education and discipline. We need to, the ultimate aim should be that I want to become financially independent, and that would be possible by the two things. One is the financial education, and the other is the self control and the discipline. So we talked about the financial literacy. First of all, we spoke about the definition of it. Then we talked about the key components of it. Then after that, we talked about the financial literacy principles. So then moving forward, we talk about the financial goals. We talked about the financial instruments. We talked about the financial ratios. We talked about the financial mistakes to avoid, which are the common financial mistakes to avoid. So these are, then of course lastly we spoke about taking control of our finances. So it was a very useful and very beneficial discussion indeed. We will speak more about this financial freedom, and that's all from me today. Thank you.